Okay, let's just have a look at that problem from before. We've got 1 over RT equals 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. This will come up again in the course. All right, so we find a common denominator, R1, R2. Divide this in. Okay, so what we get here is R2 plus R1. What we're doing is we're saying R1 into this goes R2 times 1 is R2. R2 into this, dividing into that, goes R1 times 1 times R1 is that. So finally we get that term. Now we can tip it upside down, and so it ends up like this. It's the same as cross multiplying. You finally get this RT equals R1 over R2 plus R1. Okay, now that's fine for two resistors. All right, nice and straightforward. Some people don't bother working through this, they just remember this, especially good if you're using it all the time. All right, you get used to it. Now, what happens if the lecturer then gives you something like this? 1 over RT equals 1 over R1, 1 over R2, 1 over R3. And this happens again sometimes. Okay, so you do the same sort of thing. You think, okay, I don't know what these are, but they will all multiply together to give a common denominator. R1, R2, R3. So R1 divided into that goes R2, R3 times. Times 1 is just R2, R3. R2 into this term goes R1, R3 times. Times 1 is R1, R3. And R3 divided into that goes R1, R2 times, multiplied by the 1. So finally we have that. Tipping it upside down, you can say, or cross multiplying, it's the same difference here, this is going to be true. R1, R2, R3, all over R2, R3, R1, R3, R1, R2. And again, if you're using this a lot in your classwork or studies, then again you'll get used to it. Okay, you probably remember that terminology. Now there's one good problem here. If I can just show you this one to finish this little section off. Okay, we've got RT equals O bracket 1 plus alpha T. This one comes up. Resistance alpha is a constant usually, and T will be often the time in temperature. So the examiner might say, can you find T by itself? All right. Now we've actually done the method here, and I'll show you the two methods as before. Method 1, and again you can choose which method you like. Most people work out the one that they want. Okay, so step 1, RT, if I divide by RO, then the brackets disappear. Remember this from the previous lesson, and we've got this. I've taken the RO across. Once it comes across, it divides out, and there's 1 in front of the bracket, so this is nice and straightforward. I want T, so step 2, I take the 1 across. Remember, BIMDAS in reverse. So this is plus 1 minus 1 equals alpha T. And step 3, finally, I get rid of alpha, so I've got this term. Minus 1 all over alpha equals T. Okay, that looks awkward. Most math students don't like that. All right, they don't understand something divided by something divided by something again. Let me show you the method 2, and this is the other way that you can do it. Now, step 1, RT equals, now what we do is we multiply this out. So 1 times RO is RO plus RO alpha T. Again, if we multiply it out, get rid of the brackets. Nice and easy. Step 2, we're after T. I don't want RO, so RT minus the RO. Let me have a look. Yeah, we can do that. Equals RO alpha T. Okay, step 3, RT minus RO. Now, I don't want all this, so I can simply divide by RO alpha, all right, which equals T. Now, most people are happy with that because T comes out quite easily. The question now is that the same as that? Well, let's have a look. We can rewrite this as RT over RO alpha minus RO over RO alpha. Now, that in fact is the same as that because this section here, RT, is divided by RO divided by alpha. So alpha can come up here, both of these divide into that, minus 1 over alpha. That's what we've got there. That cancels with that, so we've got RT over RO alpha minus this one here, 1 over alpha. So in actual fact, it doesn't matter which way you choose. Okay, most maths students, if they're pretty good at maths, they will be happy with this. It's very quick. Those that are not so happy with the maths generally choose this way, all right, because they can expand the bracket and then very carefully get rid of this. And even if you don't get this far here, this in fact is adequate. You can put your numbers in. The examiner or the lecturer will give you the terms for RT and RO. Alpha is a constant. You can then find T from that or from this. They are in fact identical.